The summer tourism season is just around the corner, and this year the U.S. may have a few more challenges when it comes to attracting visitors. Chris Thompson is CEO of Brand USA, which is essentially the U.S. Tourism Board. Nice to see you here.
Thank you for having me.
So tourism has been on the upswing the last couple of years. What's different now heading into the summer is what's happening with the dollar. It's stronger. How might that impact tourism projections?
Well, first of all, speaking to record years, last year tourism to the United States, 75 million international visitors, up 7%, $222 billion in spend. We do have some markets where we have some currency challenges, but the beauty of the United States as a destination is it's very diverse. And in many cases, there's so many places that, a lot of our visitors haven't seen. So the diversity of the product offers the opportunity for people not to necessarily change their plans, but to come and maybe change their travel patterns. So they may stay, have a shorter stay. They may downgrade in their lodging and their meals and whatnot. But the power of the USA brand as a still very appealing and aspirational trip, particularly some from our emerging markets like China and India and Brazil, and even from Canada, with the largest share of visitors that we get from anywhere. But Canadians love the U.S. and they'll continue to come.
So specific projections, does it look like the same type of growth we've seen the last few years? Can it be another record in terms of visitors?
We're anticipating it will be a record. Last year's numbers was a 7% increase. Typically what we're looking for is a 4 to 5%, so we may see it drop to those type levels.
But that's still a record.
But that's still a record, and obviously we're active in 33 different markets, and those markets represent over 90% of the inbound travel. So we feel confident that the numbers worldwide overall will hold up.
I want to take a look at a specific screen that basically shows where the increase in tourism has come from by country. We've seen big gains year over year from places like China, Mexico, even Colombia. What's behind these double-digit increases?
Well, China is the most massive emerging market that we have. So last year, 100 million Chinese traveled. Only 6% of them have passports. We only got 2% of the entire travel market out of China, and that said, we're the #1 long-haul market. Last year in November, our two governments extended the visa validity from 1 to 10 years, and since then, visas being processed in China are up 55%. So. Wow. We feel that the growth in China alone will have it probably grow to be our #1 long-haul market, surpassing UK and Japan and Germany probably in the next couple years, to where it'll grow to 7 million Chinese that are traveling to the United States.
Any issues with Europe in particular when we look at the strong dollar in terms of visitation perhaps being lower this year?
You know, we'll probably be a little challenged there, but Europe in particular, UK, is such a mature market. We get such great visitation from there. The Europeans, the British love coming to the United States, so I think that'll be another market that, though it will be challenged, I think they'll continue to come and they just change their travel patterns.
You and I were talking before we started recording this. There's so many places to see in the U.S. What are the most popular destinations when tourists come here?
So internationally, the #1 gateway destination is New York City, and then as states, it's Florida and California, and then certainly cities like in California, Los Angeles and San Francisco, in Florida, Orlando and Miami, Las Vegas, Chicago, Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, are all cities that see great international visitation.
So this year you're launching something that sounds fun to me, Flavors of the U.S., where you're really trying to highlight kind of the culinary side.
Sure. So, you know, obviously we promote the entirety of the United States, but we tend not to do it geographically. We tend to do it by lifestyle interests. When you look at culinary is one of those things that transcends geography, and there's really a great culinary story in major cities like New York City, but certainly in all corners of the country. There's some story that makes each destination unique. So we're holding up that up high. We as destination marketers consider ourselves storytellers, so there's not too many more compelling stories than culinary. So we're launching the Taste of the USA. We have a culinary guide, we have a culinary hub, a content hub on our website, and then we're using different opportunities like the Food Network is promoting 30 chefs in 30 days, and we're focusing on celebrity chefs, the restaurants that they have, and the communities that they reside in, the regions that they represent, and the food that they produce. And they're the best storytellers that we have.
So in terms of long-term projections, you expect 100 million visitors. That's the goal within
Correct.
6 years from now. You mentioned China. Where else do you think you will draw from to get a that number, to hit that number?
So we need to protect our share in Canada, Mexico, UK, Japan, and Germany. But the real growth is going to come from markets like China, like we talked about, India, which has a huge population and still very aspirational, and we have a really small market share. And then markets like Brazil, which is only an emerging market for everybody but the state of Florida and New York, who's seen a lot of Brazilians. But now they're starting to discover the Midwest and the West Coast. And again, huge population center with great potential, growing middle class, growing wealth, always desire to come now, propensity to come. So we think those markets are going to fuel our growth in the future.
All right, I'm ready for vacation.
Yeah, let's go.
Chris Thompson, thanks so much.
All righty, thank you.
I'm Rhonda Schaffler for The Street.